Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech, and quick one for you today. Just want to make sure that you are aware that PBfarmer, the developer of PBfarmer, is working hard for the community. You just got to be patient with them. I know many have asked, where's the update? Where's an update for this miner or that miner or this miner or that miner? And it's really annoying. And I've even been guilty of it, asking my colleagues. Greater Good has been a great sport, even giving me guidance on the situation with my dad. But we got to be patient with the developer for PBfarmer. Now, you all know what I think it's Dugan. Forgive me if I mispronounced that incorrectly. But their page constantly comes out with release updates. And they got a lot of great information out there to help you overclock your Iceriver miners, ranging anywhere from the KS0 all the way up. But if we look at their GitHub page, which I know some of you have been vigorously refreshing, we could see they're making progress. We just don't have access to it yet. So you just got to be patient. They really want to test and make sure that everything is good before they release it to the general public. So you just got to be patient with the team. Not sure if it's just them or a number of others, but I know work is being done and we could see the contributions. Like, for example, November 2024, just in the past few days, there's been 9 contributions to the repos. And then in October alone, they had 35. So just be patient. It takes time for these miners, once they're released, to get into the hands of developers, just like GPU miners that might need to set up their miners to mine a new algorithm. Developers need time with hardware to test and tune, try this, try that, so on and so forth. But we do have a firmware update in the works for the RX0. Just going to take some time. Now, right now on this machine, the RX0, we're sitting around 262 gigahash, basically 260 gigahash, and I'm pulling about 104 watts at the wall. Matter of fact, let me show you that. So you can see 104 watts at the wall. This was used on my lithium miner with the 330 watt power supply on it. Now, when we start pushing this thing, because we're on a stock power supply of 120 watts, there's not much headroom that we're going to have. So if we wanted to update when the firmware is released publicly, we just log into the IP of our machine, go to firmware upgrade, and then we can upload that file that you will eventually get if you would just stay patient, okay? One revision of many. Hit update in the upper right. Be patient. Understanding, especially as a tester, if you are testing this behind the scenes or any developers firmware updates behind the scenes, just understand the risk you are taking on. There's a chance you could brick your machine. There's a chance you could damage components. There's a chance you could wind up just making your device a paperweight. So as long as you understand those risks and are willing to do it for the betterment of the community, the team, whatever you're doing, then you can undergo this risk. But now we're updating. It says operation succeeded. Hit OK. And now we need to restart the miner. I'm going to leave it stock and monitor everything through my power meter that we just showed you here. We don't want to go too high. I showed you what the best overclocks are on a stock power supply. For other revisions or other miners, I might do the same here. But let the miner get settled in, leave it at stock clocks, check the power draw, see where everything is at, and then bring you back an update. Right now, we're only at 2 watts because the device just restarted. So again, as long as you understand the risk and you're being patient with the developers of these miners, they'll continue to bring out revisions and different updates as they progress with these new miners or ASIC miners or hardware, whatever it might be in the crypto mining scene. Our pool server and worker is configured based upon the settings provided by the pool. I do have an account. That's what I'm using. Right at the bottom of the dashboard page, at least on home pool, there's where it is. Follow whichever pool's instructions or setup guide for your particular one that you choose. Now we hit save on the bottom one. In both pools, I have a main pool and a backup pool set and configured. And it's just a matter of time before the dashboard starts to show information. We could already see board temperatures rising. It does have a duct on it, so additional air cooling with the side fins off. We talked about all the different ways you can improve thermals on these devices before. Check out the channel if you're new. But now we're just going to let everything settle on in and keep an eye on the power draw. And right now at the meter, we're sitting only 2 watts higher than we were before at 106. After some time, things have stabilized, and whenever you're overclocking new hardware, you want to notate where everything is sitting at stock, because that's going to help you out with a little bit of math on what kind of clocks you should be pushing to at what power draw, etc., etc. Right now, we're sitting at 285 on the chip voltages, and our clocks are around 640. And you can see that the small fans are not even kicked on. The big fan or the duct is doing a good job cooling it. Temperatures, while they did rise up to a high of 62, have stabilized anywhere between 60 to 54, 54 being the minimum. But everything is looking good. Again, 640 on the chip clocks, 640 megahertz. And then the voltages is 385. So now when we come here, we can do a little bit of math and figure out what the best setting is. Now, I'm just going to find out what the best setting is, at least in this video, for stock power or the stock power brick of 120 watts. And then in a future video, we'll get the 230 watt one involved and see what we can push it onto as PBfarmer Dev continues to release future updates. Just again, be patient with. And after some testing and tuning, we're sitting at a little bit over the stock power supply limitations of 120 watts, sitting at 122. Shouldn't be too much of a big deal, but I wouldn't recommend 24/7 running of this device at those rates. But there's really no point in overclocking this thing or trying to overclock this thing on the stock power supply. Even though the hunky power supplies are perfectly capable, 120 watts isn't going to get you far. Just go grab yourself a 230 watt power supply or 330, whichever you prefer. Link's going to be in the description. And be patient for the developer from PBfarmer to bring us the latest release, the official public release. But I just wanted to share this information with you. They're making updates. New miners come out. It takes time to get done. But this is where we settled at. 405 on the chip clocks. And then the chip clocks are 650. And the voltage is at around 405. And doing these small increments of 2 megahertz, 5 megahertz really didn't do anything. Now, while originally on the stock form or the stock unmodified firmware, I might be dipping between 250 gigahash to 266 gigahash, having these waves, I'm a little bit more consistent in my overall hash rate. And we're sitting anywhere between like 270 to 275, but at 122 watts, when originally I was at 260 gigahash, at around 104, 105 watts. So really no point in overclocking on the stock power supply, but it could be done. Here's what my final numbers were: 15 on the clock offset, 25 on the voltage offset. Take that with whatever you want, but I would just wait. Be patient. They do a great job bringing you firmware modifications for various devices from the Iceriver team. It takes time to do this. And the fees earned from Casper mining or whatever algorithm you are mining with their firmware, they take a percentage in fees to help fund the development costs of developing these miners. But once the miner gets into their hands, it's about a month, 2 months, maybe 3, depending on the trouble they might encounter for them to actually release it. But as we saw earlier in the video, they've been doing a great job constantly improving, tweaking, contributions to repos. So just be patient, hang tight with the team, and there is what I can get on the stock power supply. Again, 15 megahertz on the clock offset, 25 on the voltage. I could probably push the voltage a little bit higher to like 125 watts at the wall, but I do not want to kill this unit. And I will bring you another update when I have the 230 watt or the 330 watt connected to the RX0. But that's going to do it for today's video. So do me a favor on the way out, hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date. So let's check out additional links in the description, help support the channel and what we do here. And you just have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you next one.